tell me about this particular sale and why it went bad.
Well, on August 24th, we delivered him $299.75 worth of flowers that were in perfect condition.
What kind of flowers did you
These
sell
would
him?
consist of carnations, roses, palms, different types of fillers, mixed greens, so forth and so on.
You got the flowers that day?
We got the flowers on Thursday, proceeded to cut them and put them in water. On Friday, upon going into the store, I realized I didn't have baker fern, which is an ingredient that you would use inside of flowers, and then you would put your flowers in it. It's a greens.
It's like the little ferns that help decorate.
Yes. So I had called his establishment and talked to his girl, Vicky, to ask him if she could.
His girl?
His
girl?
worker. His worker.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
Thank
I'm sorry. His employee. His
Thank
employee.
you.
His
We don't have
confidence
girls
staff.
anymore
I'm
working
sorry.
for us.
The
That
young
was a
lady that
long
works
time
for
ago.
him. Judge,
You
I'm
don't
sorry.
look that old to be using that term.
No. I told her that if you could please send me a case of the baker today, and I'll pay you tomorrow, which is Saturday, because the wedding's coming in, and I'll just pay for everything. I didn't bring one in today, and I apologized. And she said, no problem, and then I didn't think anything of it.
Okay,
And
you hadn't paid for the flowers then.
I had paid Thursday for the flowers. I just needed these greens on Friday. After the girl said yes, she called me back and
Excuse me, stop using that word. Okay? We are women.
Women.
Okay?
The young lady that works for him, when she called me and told me that he said check, cash, or money order, I then told him to, excuse the expression, Judge, but to stick it up his. I hung up the phone and called
You
my
said
other
that to him or to her?
To her.
You said that to her?
To tell him, yes.
To tell him?
Yes. I then called her back and told her, please send it, I'll have the money for you, and I have credits from the day before. She said, no problem. Around 2 o'clock, he called and said, I'm coming down, do you need anything else, do you have my money? I said, yes. He came down, walked in the store, threw the box down, and said, where's my money? I said, I have credits to be written, but before you have your money, where's my money? And I said, it's right there. Right there it was a bowl filled with $25 worth of pennies. And
$25 worth of pennies?
Pennies. And behind it were boxes of pennies because I got tired of opening up. Otherwise, I would have opened them all up.
What do you mean? You went specifically to get him
yes,
pennies?
I sent my drivers to 3 banks to go get pennies, to pay him in pennies, just so I could be a pain.
You wanted to be a pain because you thought he was being
yes.
a pain.
So?
How many pennies did you get?
$225 worth of pennies. After I opened up 1 box of pennies, which was, I don't even know how many rolls, I said, to heck with this, I'm not opening the rest.
Did you hate him that much?
Well, you know what? It was principle. It was principle.
What's the principle here?
Well, I don't owe you any money, and for $47 or $40, you couldn't let me go to the next day, and I would pay you all in cash the next day.
Anyway, you did all of this for $50, basically, sir?
I did. I walked in there. There was no discussion about credits. Only discussion was the payment. And then as I walked out and he pointed on his work table with his child's bucket full of pennies, he said, you can have those pennies. I wasn't about to take the pennies.
Why? It was money, right?
It was ridiculous.
Wait a minute. You drove all the way down there to get your money. He gives it to you in pennies. Is there anything that says you can't get paid in pennies?
Not really, but for pennies in a business, to take 5,000 pennies to sit down, I thought that was pretty childish and not necessarily at all. So I turned around back to him and walked out the door with a box of Baker and brought it back and put it in the cooler. And
so
then a week later, the bank sends me this back.
What's that?
Stop payment check.
Oh, the stop payment, the money you had paid for the flowers?
Well, Saturday he didn't call me. Monday he didn't call me, and I figured since he wouldn't take the credits back and wouldn't take the money that I offered to pay him.
Okay, so tell me about these credits.
The credits were dead flowers that came into the box. I told his employee that they were dead.
And were all the flowers dead?
No.
How many flowers were dead?
Approximately around $100.
Do you have pictures of these flowers?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Let me see, Pete. They look like atrocious.
They were. They don't die that fast in 3 days.
Nor were we ever given any time to replace them or even knew that they were any bad flowers.
I'm sure there were some flowers that were damaged, don't you think? I'm going to believe you that you had about, because you know why I'm going to believe him? Because you have nothing contrary to offer. He's got the assertion, although I have to tell you, you know, when you accept goods, I think you have some responsibility to notify the seller of the goods that you are rejecting them.
Which we did.
You didn't? Well, by canceling the check.
No, we told His employee.
Oh, you told his employee.
We never heard that.
Okay, and she never told you if that's the case. And she's not here, so I can't verify it.
Right.
So you know what? You can't contradict him. His testimony stands. $100 off of $299.75. Judgment for plaintiff in the amount of $199.75.